faster because I do want to go to mortgages. Mortgages is still borrowing, but there's other things at play there. So 66, you would like to get a car loan for $15,000. The loan is to be paid back semi-monthly with an interest rate of 6.3%, compounded semi-monthly. If you pay if you pay back the loan over 4 years, then how much will each payment be? So I will solve for A right here. I like to be accused of too many examples. I can get away with that. But if you accuse me of not enough examples, I don't like that accusation, right? Too many examples, you're like, okay, fine. Like, don't complain because it's going to help you, if anything, right? So what do we have? Is there a payment that is going to happen on a regular basis? Yes, in fact, that's what they're asking me for. So it's not going to be 0. That's what I'm solving for. Let's start at CY. Compounded semi-monthly. What would that be a year? 24, I hope you know that. Payments, semi-monthly payments. Mr. Dirksen, why are they the same? Because PMT is not 0. It's fine. It could still be the same. If PMT is 0, they're definitely the same. If PMT is not equal to 0, you okay? Okay. You're okay, it's another way of saying, what are you doing? Go to class. Okay, future value. We're going to pay this off. PMT is what we're solving for. Present value. What is something when we're dealing with loans that I need to watch out for when it's present value? What do I need to subtract if they mention a down payment, right? If they mention a down payment, I have to subtract it. Now, one thing I want to talk about here is the down payment could be stated as a percentage. It might say that, you put down 10%. 10% down payment. What's 10% of 15 grand? 1,500, right? You just find out. Then you'd have to subtract it from that amount. In this case, there is no down payment. So all of it is borrowed. You borrow the entire amount. It should be positive, okay? Interest rate, 6.3. This is over 4 years, so 4 times 24. That ends up being 96. Let's solve it because if we use other functions, such as sum of interest and balance, we're going to need to have the same thing on TVM, okay? So this is 4 times 24, 6.3, 15,000. I always turn what I'm trying to solve for into 0 until I get to it. So now, here we go, we solve. And so the semi-monthly payments would be 176.97. So 2 times a month, you're making payments of 176.97. B, how much will you pay in total? It doesn't say to the bank, just like how much will you pay for the car? I should have said, can we clarify that for the car? I wasn't quite clear there. So B is total will be N times PMT plus down payment. But there's no down, right? So that I'm just going to get rid of that. That's 0. So it ends up being 16,989.12. That's really what the car costs you. You started off 15 grand, but it ends up being 16,989. Why is that? Tell me why you're paying back more. Because of interest. There you Interesting. Yeah. How much interest did you end up paying in total? How much interest in total? You can use this one. Sum of interest. And if you want all of it, you just go 1 to whatever n is, 96. It's not a decimal, so this will work for us. You quit this screen. You go apps, finance. I actually go arrow up. I think that's faster. And then go 1,96. There you go. 1,988 and 87 cents. It's negative because you're paying that to the bank, right? It's going out of your pocket to them. So it does make sense that it's negative. I omit it. Now D, if you were to increase your payment by $40, this amount goes up by $40. How many fewer payments will be needed? Okay, so let's do that here. Question, what am I solving for if it's payments? N, right? N is where payments are found, and also where you can get time out of if you do a little bit of extra work. But everything else stays the same. What is going to change here? Your payment is going to be what? Negative 176.97 plus 40. That ends up being negative 216.97, I believe. Let me see here. Yeah, 97. This is the important part right here. That my payment went up by $40, right? So increase the payment by $40. So I make sure I take the previous payment that I've calculated and I'm saying, hey, I'll pay a little bit more. This is you know what? This is for life, guys. To ask this question, hey, like, I don't want to pay that much interest. How can I pay less? I'm going to pay a little bit more. I'm going to tell the bank, hey, increase my payment by, $50 or $100, whatever you can afford. And this still stays $15,000. Everything else is the same. Now we're going to solve for N. So if I open my app, I'm just going to change this to negative 216.97. I just go up to N. It's supposed to be less than 96, right? Like if you pay more a month, you're going to pay it off sooner. Oops, sorry. Alpha enter. There we go. So you get 76.387 something. I will round that to 77, right? You can round that to, it's approximately 77 payments. So we're going to go 96 minus 77. That's 19, right? 19 fewer payments. If it asks you how much sooner in years, then you got to do an extra step. What would we do with this number? Divided by PY, right? Then you'll turn that into years. So you can actually, so about 0.79 of a year. Almost like, right? Like 80% of a year. Anyways, so you can, that's beside the point. Let's leave that. E, how much would you save on interest? What I will do here is I will do a sum of interest again. No, I can't do that, can I? Can I do sum of interest? Why not? N is a decimal. Yeah, N is a decimal, can't do it. So, believe it or not, I do that on purpose sometimes. You'll just never know when it was actually or whether I'm lying, right? Yeah, you got to use this one. Total interest or interest, whatever. It's N times PMT minus PV. Okay, so this would be 76.387. It's good enough. Times 216.97. Do not use the negative in this work here. Minus 15,000. Let me bring this up for people that are in the back there. You get 1573.71. This isn't answering the question yet. You just figured out how much interest you would have paid if you made an extra $40 a payment, right? If you contributed extra. So we will subtract these two. You can't see that on the screen. Hold on. We'll subtract the interest from the original scenario minus the interest from the second scenario. I'll find that difference. So savings, I will highlight that too, is 1988.87 minus 1573.71. And so you saved $415.41. If you have highlighters and you want to highlight the same, I'll just use this number here, and I will highlight this number here. So you subtracted those two to see how much have you saved. So just read the question very carefully. Did it ask how much interest are you paying now? This would be the answer. How much have you saved? You want to subtract from the previous. So $415 in your pocket. Like you're now, instead of giving this to the bank, you have that now in your pocket. And you can do what ifs. What if I put $100 more every paycheck? You probably save even more, right? So the more you do, the better. I'm going to give you a little advice here. When let's say you buy your car and it's a 5-year loan, okay? They do the math and it ends up being $176.97. Don't tell them, make it high, make it bigger. Don't tell them that. Just sign the contract for this. Then you tell your bank, you know what, I can afford $50 every paycheck on top of this payment. What they will do is they'll set up 2 payments. This one that happens every semi-monthly, right? 2 times a month. And then there'll be another payment with that extra that you want to pay. That way you can cancel it anytime, that extra payment, because you didn't sign the contract saying you will always pay that much. If something happens, your car breaks down, you need extra money to make repairs, you lose your job, like you never know, right? You can call them and just cancel that extra payment of $40. So what if, when we do what ifs, we combine them, but in reality, you want to have them separately if that's what you want to do, if you want to pay it off faster. Okay? I'm going to stop here.